So, howdy. I'm Brent Smith and I'm the Common Constitutionalist. I'm out here, I don't know, several miles into the woods, pasture, rolling hills, you know, the whole deal. Taking a hike by myself. I was supposed to be hiking with my son this morning. As a matter of fact, he's the one that suggested it, that we go hiking Saturday morning, and that's what I'm doing this Saturday morning. And evidently, the college that he goes to, their football team, won their first game last night. So it was party time on Friday night. So needless to say, I texted him. I said, "What's up?" And he said, "Can we do this tomorrow?" And I said, "No, Patriots tomorrow. Going over to a buddy's house. Can do." And so I'm out by myself. So I said, "You know what? I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to take a hike, get some well-needed exercise. Well-needed. Get some exercise, get some fresh air, Mother Nature, maybe shoot some things." Ha! Yeah, baby. And do my podcast. So that's what I'm going to do. So today, gee whiz, we're going to be talking about the Kavanaugh hearings. Kind of. Maybe a little bit of, mostly Lindsey Graham, but it revolves around the Kavanaugh hearings. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. I'll be right back. Yeah. You're watching the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. I found an interesting article. This is actually about Lindsey Graham and the attack that he received this just a couple of days ago or a day ago, whenever it was. But it's, again, revolves around the Kavanaugh hearings, and this is by Chris Baines, excuse me, of The Independent, which is a right-leaning website. No, it's not. It's a leftist hack website. And it's entitled, Lindsey Graham tells rape... Lindsey Graham tells rape survivor to go to the cops, then walks off amid Kavanaugh hearing. Don't you know? It begins. Senator Lindsey Graham told a rape survivor to go to the cops and walked away from her as she confronted him outside Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination hearing. Robin Swirling approached the Republican. Now you gotta listen to this. Robin Swirling approached the Republican during a break in evidence at the Senate Judiciary Committee and asked if he believed that she had been sexually assaulted. What a dopey frickin' statement that is. Mr. Graham had earlier told Mr. Kavanaugh he had nothing to apologize for, indicated he doubted Christine Blasey Ford's account of being groped by the judge when they were teenagers. In footage of of course there's footage, what else could there possibly be but footage of the encounter between a leftist hack and a Republican senator, in this particular case. In footage of Ms. Swirling's exchange with the senator, she is heard saying, listen to this. Senator Graham, I was raped 13 years ago. Mr. Graham tells her, I'm so sorry. Here's the money quote, the punchline in this sick joke. He then walks away as Ms. Swirling asks, I don't remember the exact date, but do you believe me? Frackin'. The senator, and here's the Independent's media bias here. The senator, without turning to look at her, replies, you need to go to the cops. Go to the cops. Ms. Swirling described Mr. Graham's response as horrifically insensitive and dismissive, unquote, quote unquote. Quote, if he had paused to talk with, now listen here, tactic alert. If he had paused to talk with me instead of rushing into the elevator, I'd have told him that the cops can't do anything about it. But that doesn't make it any less true and doesn't make me any less credible, unquote, she tweeted. Well, you know, I know, and any reasonable person knows, looking at this thing objectively, that this was a monumental, big, fat setup. That's all this was. And once again, the left demonstrates how despicable they really are. No one, including Graham, I'm sure, would claim that this didn't happen to her. Who would say that? What did she say again? She was raped 13 years ago. She doesn't remember the exact date, but do you believe me? How the crap would I know? How would anyone know? This is insane. Anyway, nobody knows. That's the point. But her, and maybe her attacker, if there ever was one, if this wasn't made up out of whole cloth, we don't know. We'll never know. And that's what bugs me about this, and what should bother any right-thinking person, not right as in political right, but right as in proper thinking, civilized person, is the gotcha nature of her assault on Graham. And in fact, it was an assault on Senator Graham. And that's what her motivation was. I guarantee you, her motivation wasn't just to let people know that she had been raped 13 years ago. Because of these gotcha dang questions, that's what her motivation was. Dirty, despicable, scumbag liars these people are. Other than that, I'm just, rolling with the punches. And you can always tell who the left fears the most by the virulent nature of their attacks. If they're not attacking a Republican or a conservative, that means you're not effective. If you're not being attacked, you're not effective. It's that simple. And Senator Graham, in spades, he did this in spades. He embarrassed these people, and it was on national and international TV, beamed around the country and around the globe. And everybody was watching and listening, and everybody who was watching and listening knew that he was dead on right and he was telling the truth. And this is something that the left simply can't tolerate. Oh, you know what? I've droned on long enough. Let's take a real quick break. Be right back.
You're watching the Common Constitutionalist video podcast.
Yeah, baby!
I'm back, and I took a breath, and I'm calmed down a little bit, but I'm going to be ramping up here. I can just feel it. I can feel it in my bones, baby. So we were talking about, before the break, I was talking about Ms. Robin Swirling, the leftist hack, that verbally accosted and assaulted verbally Senator Lindsey Graham, and asked him whether, he told him that she had been raped 13 years ago. She doesn't know what date, she doesn't have any proof necessarily, but does Lindsey Graham believe her? What a damn setup. It's so transparent, and these people are so transparent. It's just so pathetic, and they're just so despicable, and we're running out of, frankly, we on the right are running out of adjectives to describe the despicable nature of these people. And, every day they get lower and lower and lower. There's the lower than a snake's belly. What's lower than a snake's belly? I don't even know. That's the subfloor? No idea. So, what if Senator Graham, instead of walking away and saying that you need to go see the cops, which he should have done, and who knows whether she ever did or not, I don't know, or whether she made this thing up, we don't know, and frankly at this point I don't give a crap. I don't care, okay? I don't care. What if he had stopped to engage this leftist hack? What would happen? Well, I'll tell you what would happen. It would be just another means for the left to attack every single Republican. The very next day, if not the next minute or the next hour, they probably had a bunch of people lined up already, there would soon be a conga line of supposed victims of harassment or misconduct or rape or whatever, supposed victims, for him and every other Republican to have to engage. Now that the precedent has been set, Mr. Graham and every other Republican would be obligated to engage every victim, whether they're a frickin' victim or not, whether they're just some leftist hack or not. Every Republican, now that if Lindsey Graham had stopped and talked and tried to engage in a dialogue, there's no frickin' dialogue. She didn't want a dialogue. This was a gotcha setup. Everybody knows it. Everybody with any honest, objective view could know that this was a daggum setup from word go, and that's all it was. Man, this ticks me off. This whole charade, these people, I'm telling you what, there is a special place in hell for these scumbags. I'm telling you what, I'm sick of this crap. Gee. I'm sorry, man. I just can't even stand it. So, but what was he supposed to do? Stop and say, oh yes, I believe you? Was that the right thing to do? Of course not. It's not the right thing to do. This was nothing but a gotcha moment. And if she said, well, do you believe me? And if he had made the mistake, the monumental error of saying, yes, I think I do believe you, then what's the next thing that's going to be said? She'd turn to the camera, she'd walk away, turn to the camera and say, shh, see? He believes me, but not Dr. Ford. That's what would happen, okay? And then there'd be a conga line of victims, okay, that he would have to engage, every frickin' one of them. And that's the problem. But the first thing you have to understand is how these scumbags operate. And this is how they operate. This is, they assault people, verbally assault them, they accost them, they get around them. Look at what they did. Jeff Flake bugs the living crap out of me. He's just such a rhino, and his dislike for President Trump, pardon the pun, trumps all, and that's all that matters with Jeff Flake, other than because he's out of office soon. He's applying for a job, is what he's doing. He's going to end up being a CNN contributor, MSNBC contributor, working for some establishment or leftist think tank, or a leftist lobbyist, or something twice removed, or something like that. That's what he's doing. He's auditioning for a new job, amongst other things. I guarantee you, and this is the best way to get into the left's good graces, is to do something silly like this. But even so, if you saw the way he was accosted in the elevator, now he didn't have the courage to say, get out my face, type of deal. But he could have done something and just say, look, sorry ladies, I appreciate you coming by and speaking to me, and just kind of ease them out of the way and say, I really got to go. Thank you for your time, and boogie out of there. That's what he could have done. But no, like a frickin' coward that he is, he stands there and just takes it to these clucking hens, pointing their finger in his face, and it's such bullcrap, and it's such a setup. I can't even believe this. This is making me so angry I can't stand it. I'm taking another break.
You're watching the Common Constitutionalist video podcast.
Yeah, baby!
Alright, I'm back. And I'm just as ticked off as before I took a break. But, and I'm sorry for droning on, rambling on, and just the unhinged diatribe. But sometimes you just gotta get this crap off your chest, or you're gonna explode. And this is the best way I know how. You write articles and whatnot. I write a lot of articles. And that's, that's cathartic to a certain extent, but there's only so much emotion that you can put onto a page or onto a website or whatever. Sometimes you just gotta vent. And that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm venting. Because I'm so sick and tired of the left in this country and their wanton desire for power, and they will stop at nothing to achieve power and control. That is their absolute goal. Don't ever let anyone ever say anything but. That's what this Kavanaugh thing's about. That's what the Graham thing's about. That's what everything is about. And the thing about the nice thing about Lindsey Graham, you know what? Heck with the notes. I don't even care anymore. I'm too ticked off. Interesting thing about Lindsey Graham. him and John McCain used to be separated at the hip. And McCain was the big brother and he was the little brother. And they'd speak in lockstep and they'd vote in lockstep. And it was almost as if Graham didn't want to do anything that would disrupt that friendship or have McCain think less of them. So basically they voted the same, they spoke the same, and when they were together, basically McCain was the mouthpiece of these two. Now that McCain is gone, and McCain was the ultimate rhino, the maverick. Sorry, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but he's dead. Sorry, you know, hopefully he's in a better place, okay, but he's still dead. That being said, it looks like Graham is starting to kind of dig out from underneath John McCain's legacy. That he's becoming his own man again, for want of a better term. Or maybe his own man ever, period. I don't know. But frankly, what he did at the Kavanaugh hearings was nothing short of astounding and nothing short of courageous, and I'm not sure many other Republicans could have done such a thing. And it got the best of him, and like me, and he just started on a tirade, and good on him. And the thing about it is that when he was accosted by this leftist hack, Robin Swirling, she is in fact a leftist hack. She owns a company called Working in Progress or something, and any company with a name that has the name Progress in it, you know, is progressive, is leftist, and is just riddled with hacks. She also is a guest. She's a contributing writer for the HuffPo, the Huffington Post. Yes, that famous conservative newsletter, like Hillsdale College's Imprimis or the Washington Times. Yeah, that type of thing. No, it's not. It's left like the Nation left like MoveOn.org left. That's how left the HuffPo is. So don't let anyone say that she is not a leftist hack plant. She went there specifically in mind to do this. It was scripted, and she knew exactly what she was doing. She wasn't, obviously you can't expect to know the response by Graham, but it was classic, and it was perfect, and it was uncompromising. It sounded mean and whatnot, but the point is that you cannot ever compromise with these leftists. You can't compromise even one time. You can't let your guard down, and you can't compromise one time with these leftists, because if you give them a crack, if there's a crack in the armor, they're going to beat you to death right at that crack until you fold. That's the way it works with these frickin' dirty leftists. That's the way it always works, and the only motivation for them is power and control, and that's what it is. And we're taking their birthright away by Republicans being in charge. Birthright. The birthright of power and control is the Democrats. That's the way they think about it, and that's the way we have to think about it too. That's what we're fighting against. These dirty, rotten, they're not even scoundrels. Like I said, we're running out of adjectives to describe these low people. But I'm glad he did what he did. I'm glad he put it out there for all to see and hear. I'm glad he called the Democrats on the Senate committee to the carpet. And I'm glad he did what he did, and he reacted the way he reacted to this Robin Swirling woman and put her in her place. And she can whine and cry and, excuse my French, bitch all she likes, but who cares? The point was that she was trying to develop a crack in his armor. She was trying to have him capitulate under the pressure of sensitivity, and he didn't, and good on you, Lindsey Graham. That's all I got to say for today, because if I say any more, I'm going to start ramping it back up again, as if I ever took a break from that today. And it's just not worth, well, it is worth it, because this is our country. But it's just, you get to the point where what else can you do? What else can you do? I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm going to set up a target around here, and I'm going to shoot that target until I feel better, and then I'm going to go home. Y'all have a great, blessed balance of the weekend. Go Patriots! Wouldn't that be great? Playing a 3-0 Miami. At least it's at home, I think. And hope for the best. For all you Patriots haters, I'm sure you're loving this. For all you Brady haters, I'll bet you're loving it even more. Belichick haters, whatever. Till next weekend, this is the Brent Smith. I'm the Common Constitutionalist. See ya.